and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Tonya, and on this channel I like to share all kinds of different bookish things. So book reviews, books I'm reading currently, reading vlogs, bookish hauls, all the book things basically. And today we are going to be picking my TBR, but we're doing it a little bit different this month. We're not just choosing our June TBR, but we're going to choose for June and July. So basically a summer TBR. And also you'll notice we're filming in a little bit different of a location than we normally do, but I got some new houseplants. And my cat has decided that she really wants to eat them. So I had to do a little spiky mat thing over where my plants sit. So I couldn't do my video there this time unless I wanted to sit on a bunch of plastic spikes. So we are over here today, which I think is just fine. But as I said, we're going to be doing my June and July TBR. And I got this little, if I can get it open here. If I was better at preparing, I would have already done that, but I didn't. So I got this little bookmark from Etsy, and it's basically a TBR prompt bookmark where you scratch off the different boxes and it gives you a prompt to pick your TBR. And I thought that would be just a fun way to do my TBR this month. And I'm doing 2 months worth because there's 12 different prompts on here and I wanted to use the whole thing up. So that is what we're going to be doing today. And for my TBR, I do have physical books that are on my TBR, as well as books that I have on Kindle and some ARCs that I have on NetGalley. So what we pick can come from any of those 3 places. Audiobooks I do also, but I usually kind of just do those separate and pick them out on my own, kind of on a whim. So I don't really include those in the TBR process, but let's go ahead and get started. All right, now the real question is, am I going to scratch these off in order or just randomly? We're going to get through all of them, but we'll just start with the first box and see what we end up with. All right, so the first prompt is read a book with the word kingdom in the title. So let's see if I have any physical books that falls into. The North is the Night, the City of Stardust, Trust in the Emerald Sea, The Road of Bones, Silver Elite, the Cruel Prince series. So physical book-wise, I do not have any. Unfortunately, in May, I read A Kingdom of Bones, which would have been perfect, but that is no longer an option because I've already read it. Let's see Kindle-wise what I have going on. So I have Blade of Empire, Sunrise on the Reaping, Crown of Vengeance, Shield of Sparrows, Blood over Brighthaven. Yeah, I do not see any that I have already picked up that have Kingdom in the title. So let's do a quick Kindle Unlimited search because I know none of my ARCs have it. I think I found one that sounds interesting. It's called Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I am sure I did not say that right. But it looks like it is a romantasy, and it has witches in it, and sister witches. And one of the sisters gets killed, and then the other sister is trying to find her murderer and bring them to justice. It is a fantasy, so a romantasy from the looks of it. There is a wicked prince from hell. So, yeah, that's what we're going to go with. So let me add that. And here, if you haven't heard of it, if it'll focus, that is the book. So apparently it's also very popular, 4.3 on Amazon, 3.9 on Goodreads. So we'll give it a go. We'll see how we like it. And here's a little better synopsis than I gave you earlier. When witch Amelia finds her twin sister murdered, she seeks vengeance using forbidden dark magic and encounters Wrath, a prince of hell investigating mysterious murders. So definitely sounds like it could be an interesting one. Prince of Hell, how could you go wrong? And witches. So yeah, that will be the first book on my June and July TBR. Now let's hope for the other ones I actually have something and don't have to go get new books for everything. But luckily that's on Kindle Unlimited, so it's not going to cost me anything additional. All right. Then for the second prompt, I'm supposed to choose a book with the chosen one trope. So let's see what I have for that one. I'm going to go very literal with this prompt, and I'm going to choose Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins, and I don't think anyone can argue with the fact that Hamish is the chosen one in that book. And I've been really excited to read this. As I said, I just purchased it for my Kindle, so I've been waiting for a chance to dive into this one. I didn't want to buy the book yet because I want to wait for it to come out in paperback, because I'd really like to get that the book set they came out with that had the the edges with the different birds on the sides. Hopefully for this book they will do a version of that because I thought those were really pretty. Yeah, so I'm sure all of you have heard of Sunrise on the Reaping. It's basically a prequel to the Hunger Games, and we're focusing on Hamish's story. I'm sure I will be crying throughout this book. That seems to be the trend, but very excited to be able to pick this one up. So look forward to reading that one. All right, and for prompt number 3, we have a book with a black cover. And I am sure I have one of those. I see one right now, which is my Book of the Month book, which was Silver Elite by Dani Francis. And this is a dystopian romantasy. It's making all the rounds currently. It's been really popular. It's basically about a girl who has psychic gifts. Those are forbidden in this world. And she's been hiding the fact that she has these gifts. She ends up getting caught up, or I don't know if she gets captured or if she just gets stuck in the hands of her enemies, basically the people who want to kill all of the people who are mods like her who have these psychic abilities. And to kind of save herself, she enters their elite training program called the Silver Block, and her goal is to destroy her enemy from within the Silver Block. And this is a romantasy, so it's an enemies to lovers kind of deal. But like I said, this book just came out. It's been making all the rounds on the various Instagram, TikTok, BookTube, all the things. The book is really pretty for this one that I have with the edges there, but I don't read a lot of dystopian, which I'm saying that, and you know, we've just talked about the Hunger Games, but I don't read a ton of dystopian books, but I do like to have those sprinkled in on occasion. So definitely glad that I could fit this onto my TBR for the summer. Then for the fourth prompt, we have characters that have magical powers. And I read a lot of fantasy, so I don't think that's going to be a hard one. And I think what I'd actually like to do for that one, it's going to be a reread. And I just got the book again on Kindle. So Mercedes Lackey and James Mallory have a series they've been writing for quite some time now called the Dragon Prophecy Trilogy. The third book in that series is coming out on Tuesday, I believe, but it's been a really long time in between the books. So the first book in that series, which is The Crown of Vengeance, came out in 2017. And then the book no, I don't think that's right. I think this one came out even before that. I think the second book came out in 2017. Let's see. Yes, this first book came out in 2012. And I did read it when it came out, but 2012 was a hot minute ago. And you may be able to hear Luna chewing on a dog toy in the background. Sorry about that. But that's what the crinkling is if you hear that. But yeah, since this book came out in 2012 and then the second book in the series came out in 2017, I don't feel like I could do the book justice and reading the third book, the finale of this trilogy, if I didn't go back and refresh myself with the first two books. So that is what we are going to do. There is a very complex magic system in this world. So lots of magic going on in this book. And I'm excited to dive back into this series. The original trilogy that took place in this world was the Obsidian Mountain trilogy, and that was like phenomenal. This is the third installment of trilogies in this particular world that Mercedes Lackey and James Mallory have created. And they're just really, really good books. If you love an epic fantasy, a high magic kind of book, then you would really enjoy these series. But like I said, it's been a hot minute since I've read them. And quite honestly, I wasn't sure that this third book was ever going to come out. So very happy it did, but definitely in need of a refresher. So we will be adding in The Crown of Vengeance, which is the first book in the Dragon Prophecy series, to my June and July TBR. And then hopefully by this end of the summer, I can make it through all three books and finish out the series. But we'll just start with this one. All right, now on to our fifth prompt. And since we're doing 2 months worth, there's 12 prompts total. All right, so for this one, it is the secret heir trope. And I'm not sure what I have that would fall under this one. So it's going to take me a minute to search through my books to see what I have that may fall under this trope. All right, that one took a hot minute, but I did find one. So I'm doing The Iron King by Julie Kagawa. Probably mispronounced that. And it is a young adult fantasy series. Has really good reviews, 4.3 on Amazon, 3.9 on Goodreads. And looks like it could be a good little series. A little bit about it is a teenage girl discovers her fairy heritage, gets entangled in a deadly war, and must save her brother while navigating love with an icy prince. So, your standard romantasy, but with that, at some point, there should be a secret heir twist in here, at least from what my searches found. So yeah, we will add this one to our TBR and see if we like this series or not. All right, so for the sixth prompt, it is a book with fae, orcs, or vampires. So we kind of got a little bit of wiggle room there. I am sure I have a book that falls under one of those three. And I think I know what we will do. So right now in the Echo Saga, I am on book 6, which is The Age of the King. And in this particular trilogy of the series, part of the current great, epic battles that are happening is where orcs have returned to the world. Everyone thought they had been killed off in a previous war, but they were really just biding their time underground, and they have re-entered into the world. So that we've had 2 books where we've been reintroduced to the orcs and this battle that's been going on, along with the Black Hand has been, kind of dictating the way this war is running. So I can safely say there will be orcs in this particular book because that's part of this main war that's been going on. This is a great series if you haven't read it yet, if you do love epic fantasy. It's by Philip Quintrell, and they're all on Kindle Unlimited, so you can get your hands on them. It is a completed series. Like I said, this is book 6. Book 5 was a 5-star read for me. Absolutely loved it. So happy that I have an excuse to go ahead and read the next book in the series because of this TBR prompt. So I will have no trouble getting to that this summer. So now let's see what our 7th prompt is going to be. So it is a magical competition. And I could have used Sunrise on the Reaping for that, but I have already used that option up. So let's see what else I may have. So I think what I'm actually going to do for that one is going to be Phantasma, because I know there is a magical competition in this one, and I had it on my May TBR, and I know I'm not going to get to it in May because we're down to like the last 3 days of May. So I didn't make it to this one because probably for the first time ever, I deviated off of my May TBR and read a couple of books that weren't on it. So I still need to make it to this one, and I'm really interested in this particular book because I read Enchantra, which is the 2nd book in the Wicked Game series by Kaylee Smith, and it was good, but I've heard this first book is so much better. It's a gothic romantasy, and it definitely has that trial system in there, so we will add this book to our June and July TBR. And I will not skip it again. This is my promise to you. You can hold me accountable. That book will be read in June or July. All right, now number 8. So it is the word blood in the title. That may also be a tricky one. I don't know what I have that has blood in the title. None of these Cruel Prince books. The Spell Shop obviously doesn't. Or Ruined Realms, Road of Bones. None of those do. What about my arcs? Those do not also. Let's see what I have on Kindle. Alright, so I did have one already downloaded on my Kindle called The Children of Blood and Bone, and that is part of the Legacy of Orisha series, and it's a trilogy. So I've had that one downloaded for a while and haven't made it to it. And here is a little blurb about this one. A young girl named Zili Adebola seeks to restore magic to her people and overthrow the monarchy that took it away. But she must navigate dangerous landscapes, face her growing powers, and confront her feelings for an enemy prince. So definitely going to have that enemies to lover, and looks like some political intrigue and magic in it. And I've had this one put back for a while now and just haven't made it to it. So happy to get this one read. And then for our next prompt, this one's a super easy one. It is a book with a person on the cover. And I am quite sure that I have at least one of those. And this is one I knew I wanted to get to this summer because it just sounds like a really summery book because it deals with kind of an ocean adventure. And that is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. And if you're not familiar with this book, here's the synopsis on it. The only life Tress has known on her island home in an emerald green ocean has been a simple one, with the simple pleasure of collecting cups brought by sailors from faraway lands and listening to stories told by her friend Charlie. But when his father takes him on a voyage to find a bride and disaster strikes, Tress must stow away on a ship and seek the sorceress of the deadly midnight sea. Amid the spore oceans where pirates abound, can Tress leave her simple life behind and make her own place sailing a sea where a single drop of water can mean instant death? I think kind of a, piratey, high sea, adventure, magic, sorceress, that all screams summer to me. I haven't read anything else by Brandon Sanderson, so this will kind of be my toe in the water with him. I read a lot of epic fantasies, but a lot of his epic fantasies, I don't know, I feel kind of like they have like a steampunk vibe, which isn't necessarily my favorite one, but I'm sure at some point I will try one of his high fantasy series. I just haven't yet, but I was saving this one for summer, so this is a good excuse to put it on there. And since Tress is on the cover, at least I am assuming that is Tress, that meets the prompt for this one. It is an ancient or magical artifact. So that gives me a reason to start Four Ruined Realms by Maya Corland. And this is the second book in the series. And we do from the first book know that there was the magical artifact of the crown. And then there's also a ring that's a magical artifact that is in play, which is, I think, going to kind of be the focus of this book. Now, I have a little theory. And this isn't a spoiler because I have nothing that confirms this. This is just a theory that I have. So the first book was called Five Broken Blades, and we basically followed 5 different quote-unquote liars or unsavory characters on their mission to kill the evil god king. There was a thief, there was a exiled prince, a spy master, a poison master, and a strong man. And they were all on this quest. They came together, had to learn how to work together in order to kill this god king. Well, I'm not going to tell you how that book ended, but basically now we're on to book 2, and it's called Four Ruined Realms. And the last one is called let's see what it is, because I have pre-ordered it already. It is called 3 Shattered Souls, and it comes out in July, and my kind of theory is something's going to happen to one of these 5 people in the next books. Then there's going to be 4 of them we're focusing on, and then for the last book there's going to be 3 of them that we're focusing on. Whether that's, they get imprisoned, they die, they live happily ever after, why their numbers drop, I don't really know. But that's my theory on why the titles change in number from book to book. So I guess at least I'll find out if part of that is correct in this book. The Five Broken Blades was a 5-star read for me. The writing in it is just so descriptive. It's so wonderful. And the growth of the characters and the way they interact and the banter was just really, really well done. And these don't have a lot of magic in them. They are fantasy. They are set in a kind of different realm. It has some Korean influences in it. But the actual magic portion, at least in the first book, was not very high, which I am a magic kind of girl. So I don't read a lot of books that don't have magic in them. But it was just excellent. Absolutely an excellent book. Ari and Royo from that kind of 5 were my absolute favorite, and their banter was unbelievable. So I'm really looking forward to being able to get to this installment just because I love the first book so much. And they're absolutely gorgeous. They all have these sprayed edges, and at the end, once you have all 3, they make kind of a little picture. So I ended up buying them. Even though I read the first one on Kindle, I just wanted to have the set because I enjoyed it so much, and they're such pretty books. All right, 2 more prompts. All right, so next is red somewhere on the cover. And I'm sure we can get that one. So some of our options. We have The Road of Bones. I don't think the Spell Shop has any actual red. I see some pink and maybe some orange. So that one is a no. This one has some red on the cover, but I need to read some other books first before I get to this one. So we're going to say no to that. Then I also have North is the Night, and this is like based on some like Finnish folklore tales, and I've heard really good things about it. And then The City of Stardust has a very, 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 very small amount of red on the cover, but I don't think I'm going to do that one. I think we're going to do North is the Night by Emily Rath. I've had this one for a couple months now and been wanting to get around to it. If you're not familiar with the book, a little bit from the synopsis is, in the depths of the Finnish wilderness, more than the wolves roam the dark woods. When a death goddess attacks their village, best friends Siri and Anya prove helpless to stop her from dragging Anya into Tunela, the mythical underworld. Determined to save her beloved Anya, Siri braves a dangerous journey north, seeking help from the greatest shaman of legend, the only person ever to venture into Tunela and return alive. There's only one problem. The stories say he has since died. So definitely sounds like a good book. There will be some magic in it, I'm sure, but more, you know, from, I don't know. I usually feel like folklore magic is different than, you know, kind of your high fae magic. So there will be some magic in it, but it's probably going to be more earth or spirit kind of magic would be my assumption. So yeah, looking forward to giving this one a go. I haven't read anything by Emily Rath, so this will be the first book of hers I have read. All right, and for our final prompt, we have a setting taking place in a castle, and I am quite sure that I have a book that falls under that. I think let's do The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I am quite sure that there is no doubt a castle in here because I know it deals with a high fae court. And this is a YA fantasy, super popular. It takes place in a world called Elfheim, and in this series you get more of the wicked kind of fae, is my understanding. You know, in some books the fae are more wicked in nature, and they try to trick you or steal things from you and just, you know, kind of be a bane to humans. And then there's, you know, books where the fae are, you know, not as standoffish or, well, they're probably still as standoffish, but they're not as evil in nature. But I think this is more on the not necessarily evil front, but let's go with wicked in nature. And just a little bit from the back on this book, in case you're not familiar with it. Sharpen your blade, harden your heart. Jude was 7 when her parents were murdered, and she and her 2 sisters were stolen away to live in the treacherous High Court of Fairy. 10 years later, Jude wants nothing more than to belong there. But many of the Fae despise humans, especially Prince Carden, the youngest and wickedest son of the High King. To win a place at court, Jude must defy him and face the consequences. So, sounds like, you know, we'll definitely have an enemies to lovers kind of thing going on in this one as well. I think enemies to lover is becoming more and more of a kind of standard trope you're seeing in romanticies. But I've only heard good things about this book, so wanted to give it a try. And I recently picked up the trilogy on Amazon when they were having a sale, so I'm glad I'm getting a chance to dive into the series. And that is it as far as prompts go. Now, audiobook wise, kind of the ones that are on my radar, is I'm currently listening to A Court of Ice and Ash by L.J. Andrews. It's part of the Broken Kingdom series, and I'm sure I will continue on with that series and move on to the third book after I finish this one. I also just got, it's a new Stasia Stark's book called The Vicious Dream. But I think you don't need to have read the books in the previous series, which was called The Kingdom of Lies, in order to read this one. But I think that we are following one of the characters from that book in this new book, The Vicious Dream. But I've heard that it might be better if you do, just because a lot of the people from the Kingdom of Lies series are mentioned in this Vicious Dreams. But that is definitely another one that is on my radar. I'm sure that I will listen to it at some point over the summer. I really like the Kingdom of Lies series by Stasia Stark, so I'm hoping this will also be a really good one. I'm not sure if it's like a duology, or if it'll be a trilogy, or if it's just a standalone, but either way, I definitely plan on listening to that one. And that's kind of it for my June-July TBR as far as what I have planned. So just to recap, for our first prompt, the word kingdom in the title, I will be reading Kingdom of the Wicked. Then for the second prompt, The Chosen One trope, I will be doing Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. Characters that have magical powers. We're doing The Crown of Vengeance by Mercedes Lackey and James Mallory, which is a reread for me. A black cover, we are doing Silver Elite, which is Danny Francis's new release. I think it may be a debut novel as well, but I'm not going to swear to that. Then The Secret Heir trope, that one we're doing on the Kindle. That was The Iron King. For the prompt phase, Orcs or Vampires, we're doing book 6 of the Echo Saga, which is The Age of the King. For a magical competition, we are boomeranging back to Phantasma since I didn't make it to it in my May TBR. The word blood in the title. That one is also going to be a Kindle read, and that one was Children of Blood and Bone. A person on the cover, Tress of the Emerald Sea. An ancient or magical artifact was Four Ruined Realms by Maya Corland. Read somewhere on the cover was The North is the Night by Emily Raff. A book that takes place in a castle. We're doing The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. So I got a good range of books, good range of physical and Kindle books in this TBR. We'll see how many I make it through, but I got 2 months to do it. I'll still do a separate wrap up for June and one for July because I think it'd be a lot of books to go over in one video otherwise. But yeah, that is it for my June and July TBR. It was definitely fun to do the little bookmark, and I'll have the Etsy shop I got this from linked down below in the description box. And which of these books do you think either I will like the best, or which of these books that I picked out for my June and July TBR are you most looking forward to reading? Or if you have read any of them, how have you liked them? Definitely let me know down in the comments below. Take care, keep reading, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.